That's the best part. Well, when we first did it the first time, I think we had 20, 25 girls. So we did a lot of cross bracketing and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then the next year we had, I'm going to say 50-ish right in there. So we were moving there. And then we thought, wow, man, maybe we could double it. And we'll have an incentive called the belts. Okay.
Ricky Cheese, baby.
I'm thinking of this about the legacy for the Seahorse Open. Next year, 51 is going to be run by somebody. I don't know who. Okay, I've had already a few people send me some feelers about, they'd like to have it, and, of course, one of the first requirements, it doesn't change its name.
Of course not.
A year, 25 more years from now, it's Seahorse number 75.
Crazy. Real quick, Ron, talk to me about, and for our listeners that will be hearing this next week when we release this episode, but tell everybody how it even became a tournament and then why it's lasted 50 years.
Well, at the time, I was coaching at Broward Community College. I was an assistant for 3 years at MacArthur before that.
I remember.
And I got an opportunity to get the coaching position at Broward Community College. Okay, and so I built a program there, and we needed to have an event. So USA Wrestling with guys like Danny Kraft and Phil Chase, they were around, and they got us to join USA Wrestling, and the Seahorse Wrestling Club became part of their function. And the event was a good Thanksgiving time. Okay, and at the first couple of years, it was only the college kids at the Seahorse Open.
Yeah.
And then we opened it up and had some high school. And then as we left Broward Community College and had to go onward, we were at Nova, and we started having it at Nova. And then we had an opportunity to have it at Coral Springs Gymnasium. We moved there for a while. And then it went down to Dr. Crop. We were at Shaman at one time. And we've been now at Cypress Bay, I would say, about 8 or 9 years. The whole idea was to give a wrestling experience for the start of the season. I'm a firm believer that the cream always comes to the top, and the best way to become the best is by wrestling everybody. I'm going to say a statement that a lot of people like that when I first say it, they're like, you're crazy. You can learn more by losing than by winning. And what I mean by that is if you beat a kid and you do some takedown sloppy and all that, you still scored. But you did that same sloppy takedown against somebody that was good, and they spun around you and beat you by one. Okay, well, that mistake was your mistake. You did something wrong, and because you did something wrong, and if you continue to do it, you're going to have the same result. You're going to lose. So you look at the video and you see, man, well, actually, I've done it this way and all that. So, and you lost that match, but you learn from it. So you move on because winning yesterday's match, it's over. You can't change the results. So now you can work to get better. And so anyhow, the tournament itself, we kept on moving around and all that. But what made it so much good is that everybody knew that the top wrestlers were going to come. And then when we added the belt, now the belt was an idea from Alan Held. And so for the state division, which is on Saturday, where the kids are usually state qualifiers or just missed, or they think they're going to go to state this year, they want to wrestle that kind of competition. Okay, the best. Because if you wrestle fishes all the time, you're still a fish. Well, the only way you're going to get better is by wrestling somebody that kicks your ass.
Yep.
Okay, because that makes you go back, work harder. Well, the tournament itself has progressed. I mean, 1 year we had it at Dr. Crop, and it grew so much. Well, we were there so late because we just had too many people. We had like about 900 wrestlers, and there was just no way we were equipped. We were thinking we were going to get 500 or 600, and then we wound up with 900. It was like a disaster. But now, of course, we can control a lot of it because we have registration, for the event online, and that saves a lot of time and energy. Okay. And we go from there. So how you been? What have you been doing? It's good.
Oh, man, just regular work and trying to just keep up with the Florida Wrestling Room.com website and now the Grinding for Greatness podcast. There's so many things going on, but it's all good stuff, man. I love it. Anytime that I have a opportunity to build and promote the greatest sport on the planet, which is wrestling, I'm down for it. I wanted to ask you about something, and I'm asking you this because I have been asked this. At some point, you guys brought in the satellite weigh-in
Yes.
locations, which I love that. I think that is the smartest thing ever, because it was a logistical nightmare with a lot of people trying to get here at a certain time, and it was costing them more money because they had to get here a day or whatever it was. But what I was asked is, with all these different satellite locations, how do you protect the integrity of the weigh-in? Like, how do you know it's going to be done right?
So they have two real options to weigh in. And of course, they're going to be able to have a time period on Saturday to weigh in. Now, they've got an allowance. And here's the thing that you've got to keep in mind, that a lot of why the next week, I'll guarantee you every team that competes in the event has a match, a meet, or whatever the following week. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Okay. And now with the new weight rules, any kid who cheats for us is going to have a hell of a problem cheating to make the weight and get certified for their weight.
Yeah.
Okay. And so by having to come weigh in, I trust if you got to cheat at a varsity or JV level or kids level, then you're a loser.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because here's the thing, Ricky, math time is more important than anything in the world. You cannot buy enough math time.
Right.
Okay. You can practice till your balls turn blue.
Yeah.
Okay. But guess what? Going out on a mat where somebody's trying to kick your ass, that's tougher.
Yeah.
A perfect example of that. Okay, let's say you and I are wrestling, and you shoot a double leg takedown. The most favorite counter is a crossface, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're my teammate, I'm going to just kind of like, put a little sloppy Joe there so that I don't hurt your face. But against an opponent, I'm going to put that crossface that your nose all of a sudden goes over to by your eardrum is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's a whole different thing. So practice all you want. Give me matches. Give me mat time. Get on there and have to go out there and actually beat somebody. Okay, that's how you get tougher. And that's what a lot of good coaches, that's why do you think the Southwest and the Southridges and the South Daves and all the good teams come down and wrestle in it? Because they know they're going to get good competition.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and if they lose, big deal. It doesn't count against their record. Okay, but it's for bragging rights. All right, and the kids love the belts.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah.
We had to discontinue this year for the girls because it was just not cost efficient.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, when it costs you more money to have the event than to have it, then you can't do that because, we hire the best professionals we can. We'll have 12 referees, so that's 2 to every mat. We'll have 2 professional trainers at all time there. And those are all important elements. But of course, and now we have a new thing called security, where very important that the people who follow this and all that know that when they're going to tournaments anymore, they're going to be get scanned. That's just the way it's going to be. They're going to have the magic wad scan your body as you go through. But we've got the system pretty well worked out, we think, and it shouldn't delay. But so what we're going to do one thing a little different. Last year we started the kids and tried to go on that. When we started at 11, everybody's going, all the mats. There'll be 2 mats of each of the branches, and away we go. And the tournament will run, and we'll have a great day. I mean, we expect usually on the first day 400 to 500 wrestlers that will be competing. Of course, we have kids, we have the schoolboys, we have the JV, and we have the varsity. Then on the Saturday, we have the state division and the girls division. And we saw some really nice matches last year in the girls division. And I love seeing it because I remember we used to have girl wrestling. And Nova High School, when we had back in '84, was the first official high school FSAA match involving girls.
Was that with the girl Stephanie that you had?
Oh, she was before she was one of the first ones at Seahorse.
I remember her.
Yeah, she was tougher than nails. Okay, I remember we had wrestle-offs, and she beat 3 of the boys on our team.
You think she would have been a state champ in today's wrestling?
Oh my God, yeah, she was a stud.
Yeah, I remember her. She was a tough cookie, man. I want to jump a little forward about talking about the state level division that you guys have, which is another thing I absolutely love, because back when I wrestled in the Seahorse, I wrestled in it 5 or 6 times. It was just one division. There was no, you didn't break it down. So everybody wrestled everybody. But now at the state level, I've seen and I've watched over the years, the tournament just getting tougher and tougher and tougher, to the point where it's so tough that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I'm right. There's years where kids will go on to win a state title, and they did not win the Seahorse. They could not win.
And they didn't place. What do you mean?
Right. Some of them didn't even place.
From over in the Tampa area, he got 0-2 in the barbecue, and then at the state meet, he beats everybody's ass. That's what I'm saying. The guy lost down here, and against tough competition, and his coach told me he stepped up his game plan.
Yeah.
He realized that he wasn't, he thought he was working hard enough. Well, he came down and wrestled in a tournament against tough guys. And you know what he discovered? He wasn't working hard enough.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the whole thing. Every good wrestler has always, somebody's always lost. Even Dan Gable, the great Dan Gable, had never lost a high school match, never lost a college match till the final match of his entire career at the high school level. Then, of course, he never lost again at freestyle or anything. But I mean, that's a whole nother story. But prove that on any given day, you can go out and beat your opponent. If you believe that you can beat your opponent, you have a good chance to win that match.
Oh, yeah.
If you have doubts, you're
Absolutely. And it happens every single year. We see these top kids that we think are going to be state champs. They're ranked number 1 in the state in the preseason polls. They don't place, or they place 4th or 5th or 6th, whatever. It's just gotten so tough. I love that. I would go as far to say, everybody says that the knockout during the season, the knockout tournament at Osceola is the toughest tournament in the Southeast. I would go as far to say the Seahorse is by far the toughest preseason tournament in the South. 100%.
And how about older? We started a legacy, something, and you notice you don't see my name on it. I avoid the press. I avoid all those people. I'll give you all the information you want. I'm good friends with, personal friends with guys like Larry Bluestein and all that. Yep. And I don't do things to interrupt that friendship. Okay. But at the same time, we need constantly getting support. It costs money. The officials charge more. The security charge. That's what's going to kill us this year. That's why I'm begging for money for folks to help us out with that area for security. I mean, now we got to have 3 wanderers. Okay, well, they don't come cheap.
Right.
That's the problem. But that now, because of the world like it is, you got to have them.
Yeah. No, it's a must. It's a must. Now, let me ask you this. For those business owners out there, the wrestling enthusiasts that want to help, that want to contribute, that want to donate to the Seahorse, how can they do that?
Well, the easiest way is to go to seahorse-wrestler@aol.com.
So it's Seahorse, like the little fish, seahorse-wrestler@aol.com.
Yep, that's it.
So
anything we get is we appreciate, because like I said, next year I'm going to hand over the paperwork. Here's how you can run it, because when you have a big thing like this, you got lots of factors to deal with. You got to deal with bringing the mats over to the function. Okay,
right.
I mean, so a truck, and that's personnel to do that, and of course you got to have people to run the 6 tables. Okay, so you get a lot of volunteers, and I also want to mention the fact that on the Wednesday beforehand we're doing the call out. So the Seahorse is actually a sanctioned 3-day event now. We have it's called the Ray Held Call Out, and it's going to be from noon to 5 at Cypress Bay. And what it is a call out. We'll have the mats all set up, and the kid comes in, he weighs in. We find other kids that are close to his weight. We make a bout sheet, and they go on the mat. They get 3 or 4 matches in for their $20, against competition with a referee. Because as I said to you before, I'm a firm believer in mat time. Give me a mat, on a mat. Let me go wrestle, and I'm going to get better because I did that. And so the call out is where the kids comes in. And here's the best part for a lot of the kids who participated, and there were probably about 70 or 80 of them, is that weigh-in at the call out counts for the Seahorse.
Now, so let me just get this straight to make sure everybody's getting the right information. On Wednesday will be the Ray Held call out, but that is open to kids that are going to wrestle in the state division.
Exactly. And
I want to bring one thing up, and you can give me your feelings on it as well. In the past, not this year yet, but in the past, I've had people say to me, I'd ask them, hey, you bringing your team to the Seahorse? Great event. I wrestled in it a bunch of times. It's, however many years old. Now it's 50, but back then, whatever it was. And they'd be like, yeah, no, we're going to skip it this year. I'm like, well, why? Why are you skipping it? And the answer that these coaches would give me, or a parent, whatever, is, well, it's right before the wrestling season starts. And what if my kid gets hurt? That makes no sense to me, Ron.
Exactly.
Why would you not take the opportunity to get this kind of mat time at that level of competition?
What gets me is the people that are worried about injury. It's a contact sport in the first place.
Right.
Wrestling is a contact sport. And, because I've had, oh, my God, that guy cross-faced my son too hard. Well, pal, if you think that's the worst thing that's ever going to happen to him, he better get another sport.
Exactly.
I mean, because I'm sorry, the forearm in the back of the head as I'm cranking on your shoulder so that you turn to your back is painful.
Right.
Well, guess what? I might even separate your shoulder in the process. I'm going to try not to, but hey, it is a contact sport. Okay, and
100%.
that could happen football, basketball, whatever. So injuries are part of athletics.
Yep.
It's just the facts of life.
Exactly.
Okay.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You roll with the punches. How long ago was the first girls division? It's in how many? What year is it?
Girls division we've had now recognized separate for girls. I would say probably at Seahorse 4 years now.
4 years.
Okay, but we always accepted. We always had girls competing
Right.
because remember back, let's say 10 years ago, the girls were, if they were wrestling on the boys level, and most of them were wrestling like your 102, 103 weight class.
Right. Right.
Okay, because it's hard to find boys that are in high school that weigh under 100.
Yep. Exactly. But now the girls have their own division. Will they be wrestling against each other? They don't have to be wrestling boys. They'll wrestle against each other. And now they're in their 4th year. So in the 4 years, what kind of growth have you seen? Does it get more and more each year? More girls are wrestling in this thing?
Right. That's the best part. You know, when we first did it the first time, I think we had 20, 25 girls. So we did a lot of cross bracketing and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then the next year we had, I'm going to say 50-ish right in there. So we were moving there. And then we saw, wow, man, maybe we could double it. And we'll have an incentive called the belts. Okay. And in order to make it, cost efficient, we would have to have close to 100 girls. And we wound up having 75. And so the board decided, you know what, we're going to shoot to try to get 100 this year. And if we get 100 again, we'll put back the belt. Okay, for the girls. But they're going to get a nice trophy. They get a T-shirt. So it's not like they're getting nothing. As you've emphasized, mat time. That's the most important thing. They're going to get at least 2 matches. Most of them get 3-4 matches. Okay? Because like a weight class of 4, because that happens with the girls division, we'll do a round robin. Everybody wrestles everybody. They get 3 matches. Okay? So it's a win-win. 3 times you go out there and try to figure out what you need to do to win.
Absolutely. And for those coaches or parents, and it's going to happen, I just know it's going to, you're going to hear, well, how come the girls aren't getting belts and the boys, we're always second-class citizens? No, it's not about that, guys. I'm going to answer this one, Ron. It's not about the money. The Seahorse is not about the money. It's about the kids. But you can't lose money either. So you can't expect the Seahorse to provide these beautiful belts if the girls aren't coming to the tournament. You need a specific amount of competitors to justify spending that kind of money to purchase the belts. The boys didn't have belts for 40 years, whatever it was, but as it got bigger, you were able to do that. And I know you're trying to do that for the girls because you had the belts for the girls already. But when they're not coming, you can't purchase the belt. So if anybody feels that those girls should have belts no matter what, then step up, write a check to Ron for the Seahorse, and I promise you he'll buy the damn belts. Or get the girls there to wrestle. Am I correct, Ron?
Right. Here's the thing that the belts cost anywhere between $150 to $175.
Yeah, they're nice. They're so nice.
Each.
Right.
Each. Okay, do it by 14 and you realize that we're looking at something over $2,500.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Now, of course, I would have no problem. I mean, it's still not too late. If somebody would say, you know what, I want to see you do the belts again. Okay. Well, and then they give me a check for $2,500. I'll have belts.
Yep, for sure, 100%.
Okay, but I can't justify the $2,500 expense right now with the added cost of security.
Right.
Security is going to be another extra $500 this year.
Right.
Can't get around it.
Yep. If there's any business owners out there, any parent that is fortunate enough to have the funds available, if you want belts, write the check, get with Ron at seahorsewrestler@aol.com. Tell him who you are, drop him an email. You guys will get each other's phone numbers, set it up, buy the damn belts, and then the girls will have the belts too. If not, then you know what? Next year, get more girls there and he'll make it happen. So enough of that. They get the point there. Ron, talk to me about how important the Ray Held call out is and why that started and why is it called the Ray Held call out?
Okay, well, it was originally called the B-Rad Duels.
Right.
Okay, Radley Gillis, his family has always been a strong wrestling family. Had the tragedy of Radley getting hit.
Yep.
And he lost his legs.
Yep.
Very expensive proposition. So we called upon the family and I said, listen, we know you're going to be to some tough times right now. How about if we have a call out for you? And we call the B-Rad Duels. And they were tremendous. They brought, they had business owners and stuff like that. They contributed and they raised quite a bit of money. all the people who worked from our Seahorse staff worked for free. The
Mm-hmm.
officials worked for free. The trainers worked for free. And so all the proceeds, the entrance of the entrants, the wrestlers, and the admission costs, and also outright donations really helped. And we did that for a couple of 3 or 4 years. And then we've done this Ray held recently. I think this is the 3rd year of doing this event. And the whole idea is helping the family with expenses related to dementia and Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Okay. And unfortunately, what's really sad is this poor Ray Held had a fall, and now she's got a dislocated knee.
Yeah, I
Or
heard.
broken. I mean, it's sad. But we want to help the family because Alan Held and his family did a lot to promote wrestling, and they had brought some good coaches into the sport. And, wrestling is a family. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it before, wrestling opponents today, friends forever. And that's just something that I'm a long-time believer in. And so I know that there's a lot of people out here that might have the ability to help other people. Well, it's different. It's when it's strangers. When it's somebody you know, it gives you a much warmer feeling that you went out and helped somebody.
Absolutely. I always tell people all the time, doing a random act of kindness is an amazing thing. But when you do a random act of kindness and you don't tell anybody about it and you just shut up and just do it just to do it, it means so much more. So I think having the Ray Held call out is an amazing thing. Coach Alan Held, he's in the Hall of Fame with you, just recently retired. For those that don't know, Ray is Alan's wife of many, many, many years. She had a stroke. She's got some dementia, Alzheimer's going on, but now recently she fell and has that going on. So this will be to support the family. Guys, Alan is one of the greatest guys that I know. Forget about wrestling coach. He's just a good human being. He's coached many state champions, national champions, kids that didn't do anything. He's coached those 2 kids as well. And that's the kind of guy he is. You know, he'll coach any kid that wants to learn and get better. He'll be there for them. Just like you, Ron. I mean, you were my coach at 12 years old. I moved from upstate New York. I lived in Coral Springs. My dad reached out. The only program around was the Seahorse Wrestling Club. Back then in the 80s, if you lived in Broward, Palm Beach, or Dade, you went to Seahorse Wrestling Club because there was nothing else. That was the best club ever because it was when I went there, it was in some showroom off of like Federal Highway or something like that. It was like a glass showroom.
441.
A 441, yeah. And then we moved to Nova High School. And man, on any Tuesday or Thursday, or what, I forget what days, I think it was Tuesdays and Thursdays, but on any given Tuesdays and Thursdays, you could walk into that gym and you're going to see state champs, multiple times state champs, state placers, all drilling with each other from all different schools, all becoming lifelong friends. I mean, I still talk to guys, Joe Bonnie, Angel Soto, all these guys, on Facebook, of course, not all of them, in person, but you're right. Opponents today, friends forever. So true. So true. What were some of the other slogans that you had on those shirts? You've had some good ones.
Well, the wrestling opponents there. Well, you know what? That's funny because what the guy who does our T-shirts discovered that he had the last 10, 12 years of our screen. So he's going to give me the screens and I'm going to have them
That's awesome.
Around the place, because, it's kind of funny. We've had some kind of neat slogans along the way, and I should have thought about that. But this year, it's come celebrate.
Okay.
That's our theme. Is just come celebrate because no matter how you cut it, what you think, 50 years is a long time, and that says a lot about the tournament itself. If it wasn't for all the good people out there that love wrestling, the event wouldn't be going on.
Yeah,
we got a lot of volunteers that help us. There's some families like the Lowry family, the Tucker family, the Williams family. Those guys are still help us and support us. When we have a function, I can call them up, and that's all part of what this sport does. That's why it's my favorite sport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The best part, kids would, come off the mat and, they say, the referee cheated me or whatever, all of that. And I'd always tell them, listen, here's the mirror. Let me show you. Take a look in that mirror right there. That's why you lost.
Right.
Okay. You can blame the referee and all that other stuff. That's all horse manure.
Yeah.
Okay. And no, you go out there, wrestle, and our kids will say, Coach, I wasn't pinned. Well, first of all, what were you doing on your back? If you weren't on your back, you wouldn't have to worry about getting pinned. But
who is that school? Maybe you'll remember. Who is the school that had on the ceiling in their gym? It said, "If you could see this, you're pinned." I remember one of the high schools had that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I think I do believe it was Dr. Kropp.
I was going to say it's a Miami school. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
because Phillips Eric was one of those kind of guys who would have done something like that.
Yeah. If you could see this, you're pinned. Welcome to Dr. Crop. That's awesome. One thing I wanted to bring up when you mentioned that the t-shirt guy that's been doing the shirts there forever had all the screens. Guys, if you're listening, if you've ever wrestled in the Seahorse and you still have one of those shirts, please get with me or get with Ron. We want to collect as many of those older shirts as we can, and we're going to hang them up or we're going to do something special with it just to show everybody all the different years that's gone by with the different designs of the shirts and the different slogans. I think it'll be a really cool thing. So I know you guys are out there. I don't have any of the shirts left. I don't know what the heck happened to them, but I know some of you guys do. So get with either me or Ron. And again, it's seahorse-wrestler@aol.com. Very easy to remember. And we'll be able to put those on display. Ron, is there anybody that you would like to thank that you haven't thanked already before we call it a day?
Wow, holy cow! Well, we start with Alan. We got Bean. He's one of our coaches and we have of course Dwayne Anderson. He's the new coach at Cypress Bay. Okay, and all those guys. And we've had a lot of help from a lot of people. I mean, to me, a guy like Vic Balmaceda, well, you say, well, what do you do? He makes sure he comes every year to the event. And what that happens is that people know that he's there and they want to wrestle a good competition. They're going to be there. And he wants that good competition to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because, every coach has a kid that thinks he's working hard enough till he goes to a tournament like this, gets his butt kicked and realizes, gee, maybe I'm not working hard enough in practice.
Right.
The coach is telling them you're not working hard enough. And of course, when you're 18, you know everything.
Of course.
Okay. And, so the coach tells you you're not working hard and you just let in one year and out the other. And then you go to Seahorse, get your butt kicked, and you go, damn, maybe coach was right.
Exactly. Hey, are there any large sponsors or just any sponsors that have helped out with this year's tournament that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Well, always like Majors Roofing. He's always been there. And Steve Carmelin.
I remember Steve Carmelin. I remember him.
Yeah, he donates. But we got, some other friends. Okay. One of our biggest sponsors over the years was a guy named Joe Giovanetta.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so some of them, old time names and stuff like that. But, of course, as your kids are no longer and all that. But, we have some of them come back and say, yeah. You're talking about Angel. He's been one of our sponsors over the years, and Gary Bohiver and Boscheiber over in Coral Spring. He's been big time. So we've had quite a few guys that come to help us, and then sometimes it's just simple things like moving the match from one school to the other. Like Joe Basucci is going to help. He's doing all the pairings. That really helps us out because I don't have to worry about that. Back in the day when you wrestled, we did number all on paper. And we had to make announcements and all this other stuff. We call some kids 25 times. Now, everybody's got their iPhone out. They go, okay, I got 3 matches. I'm going to be on mat 1. It's so much wonderful. You don't have to worry about a PA.
Right.
Because, first of all, you can't hear most gyms, you can't hear the PA.
Correct.
That's just a fact of life.
Yep.
But, the way they have it all set up with the screens and everything else, it really makes it easy for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do. In, out, everybody gets their competition. Like I said, the champions get a T-shirt and a trophy. And in a state division, we give a belt plus trophies, and the girls get trophies and T-shirts. Okay. So, the whole idea is that it's a good competition and get something ready for the upcoming season. Because like I said, I would bet 99% of the kids who compete in Seahorse are going to match the next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Because the season starts December 1st.
Yep.
Okay. And this year, Seahorse is the whole week later actually in the calendar because of how it fell. Because it's always the last Thursday in November.
Yeah. And as far as the weight classes, Ron, of course, there is an allowance because it's right around Thanksgiving. So it's not scratch weight, right?
Yeah, it's 3.
3 plus 3. Okay.
Okay. Yep. And so if you got to cheat on that, you know what I'm saying? We're already giving you allowance.
Right.
And you're not helping the kid by doing that. When coaches cheat and the kids know that he's cheating, what he's doing is glorifying and saying cheating is okay. Well, guess what? Cheating is not okay to me.
Right.
Okay. But I'm not going to tell you what to do because if that's how you deal with life, cheating, well, then that's on you, not on me.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. One thing I want to ask you. I remember for many years, Patinio Insurance. They were a sponsor. Are they still involved?
He's one of our biggest sponsors. I'm sorry, you're right. Thank you very much for that. Frank Patinio is the one who sponsors the T-shirt. So the T-shirt that all the kids get, that's because of Frank. He picks up the tab. You're right.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Frank is worthy of that acknowledgement.
for sure. Yep. Yep. The General, Frank Patinio, the General.
Exactly. I think he's used to that now, being called that name, and it's all in fun.
It's in fun. It's in love. It's nothing derogatory.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: Is the hell was man? Now it just slipped my mind. I'm getting old, Ron. I'm 56
I know
years
that.
old.
Well, we got a lot of good coaches around here. Remember Joe Bertolone? He's still hanging.
Yeah.
I talked to yesterday Jim Husk,
Wow,
and
I
he's
love
training.
him.
Now he was at the first Seahorse, even
Wow.
though he had brought kids to come watch college wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, and we had all the seven. So everybody got to compete, and it was great for all of us.
Yeah.
Okay, and then after that, the tournament is growing and growing. And like I said, once we were out of BCC, it went full time to varsity and all that because I was coaching at the high school. But we also had open division. But with new teams developing, those guys all have tournaments to go to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So we just have the state and the girls and the varsity and the kids.
Yeah. All right, Ron. Well, I thank you so much for coming on Grinding for Greatness to talk about the 5th annual Seahorse Wrestling Tournament. I like calling it the Seahorse Wrestling Classic because it's a classic event and it's been going on 50 years, which I don't know any other tournament that's been going on successfully for 50 years. So make sure.
Same people, too.
What's that?
And the same people.
Same people. That's crazy, man.
I don't even.
Mind blowing. Mind blowing. But thank you for coming on. Enjoy your Saturday with your family. I don't know what you got going on, if you have the grandkids doing anything with them today, but if so, enjoy it. Get with me this week if you need anything else from me, and I'm happy to help. All right, Ron, I love you, man. Have a great day.
I love you too, Ricky.
I'll get back with
Take
you.
care.